Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CA Media Podcast, the show that allows you to come in your own unique way. I am the host, Clyde Anderson, and today I have my friend,
Lashia.
Lashia here, and she's going to come in her own unique way. The show is brought to you by Visionary Minds, Public Relations and Media. If you have any media consultation, feel free to contact Visionary Minds at visionarymindsny@gmail.com, and Tammy Reese will gladly get in contact with you. So today's episode is about dating in today's society on your perspective. Would you like to introduce people and who you are?
So, hi, I am Lashia.
Tell them what you do. What do you do for a living?
I'm a life coach for a living, so I work with people.
What does that consist of?
Just like helping them find jobs, creating goals, and basically helping them achieve their goals by just setting up different plans. And they make their own plan, and then they basically set a date to when they're going to achieve those things. So we start with small, and then we go on to larger things, whether it's home ownership, education, employment, things of that nature.
Okay, it sounds like something like I currently do for myself at work, in which I work with people with developmental disabilities, and I'm like the in between person between like the coordinators, care coordinators, and like the individuals and their advocates, and we create a life plan for the individual of goals and like safeguards to help make them feel safe. And the second is for them to accomplish whatever goals that they desire to accomplish, so that they can live however life that they desire to live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so something similar, right? Life coach aspect over here. I guess it is what it is, All right, so today's episode is about dating in today's society. So, question: why do you think people are finding it harder to connect romantically today than in the past?
I think people set their expectations a little too high. I think a lot of people are dating for the wrong reasons, whether it be, financially. I feel like people are not dating to find true love. It's basically some, not all. I think there's a lot of people who are looking for love in all the wrong places. There's just a variety of things. So.
Okay. So, like you said, people set their expectations too high. What do you consider a high expectation?
Well, I think a lot of women, especially like if they have like college degrees or things like that, they don't want to go 50-50. I think a lot of women are saying, no, the man should pay the bills, and my money is my money. So I think, when it comes to building and just basically courting and even a relationship, I think their expectations are so high. Like, that thing that came out about Cheesecake Factory, and how, the dating. So like what a date is. Some people want to get took to Ruth Chris or, Eddie V's.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not saying, I think they're not being realistic, so.
What would you consider realistic for you?
Realistic for me is just, thoughtfulness, planning a date out, courting, vetting, a person, seeing, not ignoring the red flags, because they're there,
right.
And I think a lot of women, ignore the red flags, and men do too as well. Right. They're there, and I think, they always say that thing like the dating has pee in it, or some people are saying shit, but I don't think, it has. I think when dating, you have to be patient. You have to get to know people. You have to build that friendship. Right. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I know I hear people say dating has urine in it, you said pee, and crap. But I think it's to each his own. I think each person, whoever they may be, whoever they're trying to seek or look for, I think you should first and foremost, get to know the person and see what it's like to just be their friend. Like, I have friends that talk about, I just wish, XYZ would just be my friends first, and then we can see what happens from there. But people just want to just jump into relationship, jump into dating, and not give her like a real expectation of what they really want to find. So I think if people be honest of what they want, and then to be the person's friend, you could either one, you could find your soulmate, or two, you can have a long life friendship with the person that you were trying to see, but it might not be a great friendship. So like you said, then again, it's to each his own, but I think that route will best benefit for people, because at the end of the day, you're not wasting the person's time, and then you're just being honest with who you're seeking.
And I think to go off of that, a lot of people are presenting them a certain way. I hear a lot of people say, I met a representative. Basically, they did all the right things in the beginning, but when they get in the relationship, the tables are turned, and they wasn't that person when they first met. So, you might have somebody, woman or man, they're doing everything and they're checking all the boxes. But then once you get in that relationship, it's like, hey, I got you. Now I get to show you, my ways, and the ways may not be so, great. Correct. So I think, when it comes to that, people have to be careful and not ignore those red flags.
Firmly agree. I'm 100% with you in reference to that. I believe that, show who you really are, or there's a not trying to be biblical. I know there's like a scripture, I can't think of it right now, but a person who really shows you who they are is who they really are, so
trust and believe it. So, you gotta see it for what it is.
So do you think dating apps are making things easier, or is it adding to the confusion of today's society?
I feel like it's adding to the confusion to today's society, is because you can hide behind that dating app and not show who you really are. You can say, your interest and what you're interested in, but honestly, it's a scary world out here, let's be honest. Correct. You have different types of people. You have people who do prey on others, and seek others, and prey on vulnerable people. Right. There's a lot of people searching for love, or searching for that companionship, right, or for searching for that team player, and they really want to build. Right. But my thing is, we have to also go back to the way you were raised. Right. We have to ask questions. You got to ask, how were you raised? Like, how did you grow up? Do you have a close relationship with your mother, your father? Right. Things of that nature too, because we got to get down to, there's a difference when you're raised off of love and when you're raised off of survival. Correct. And, you have to be able to come together. And some people are not healed from their trauma. Absolutely. From past relationship, whether it's childhood trauma, things of that nature. And then, yes, men and women do bring baggage into relationships. So I think that, a lot of people who are in the dating scene needs to heal, and take that. And it's okay. Seek counseling, talk it out. And then try to get back into dating. And I think a lot of people too, also, just date one person and hop to the next person,
Yeah, that's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy. So it's all in, getting out there.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think dating apps can be at times confusing, because you really don't know the person unless, like, your friends know them, or you just don't know unless you do your own research of that person. But I believe that it can be confusing. It also can be great, but it depends on the person that's using it. So I think for safe measures, you just want to make sure the person you're dating is a safe person, and my bishop always say, do the three things. Do baby mama check.
What's the three things?
I'm saying right now, baby mama check or baby dad check.
What's the baby mama check and the baby daddy check?
Make sure they don't, either if they had a baby mother or baby father, they are in good standards with them. Health check.
Always gotta stay.
Yeah.
Make sure you know your health. My chart.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the third one he would say.
What's the third one?
Baby mother, baby father. Oh, credit check.
Credit check.
Yes.
You're so right about that.
Sure
You're so right. Because, I found too that a lot of, people, women and men, use dating sites to prey on, people. They may not have a place to live. They might not have a stable, car, job, and things like that. So they do seek out relationships online so that they can move in with, people. So there's a lot to get through when you're on those dating sites.
Correct.
And like I said, you have to vet people. And I do agree, you do have to do a baby mama check, a baby daddy check. You do have to do a my chart check, financial check. But, all things don't work out. Sometimes, baby mama, baby daddy may not agree at that time. You could just hope that one day they will get to a place of understanding for the kids' sake. That's another topic for another day.
Okay. One more in this segment. You think there's like too many options out here in reference to like people finding commitment? Like there's social media, there's like meeting people like that in the community, or different spaces, that there's too many options and not enough, doing the old school like dating, like just meeting someone in school.
I think it's definitely hard. I would have to say people don't court anymore. They don't come up to you like, "Hi, how are you doing? It's nice to meet you." I think sometimes, women and men, they might be afraid. Some people are assertive and some people are not. If you see somebody in a grocery store, or in a bookstore, anywhere, I think people are less likely to approach you.
Right.
And I think, like you said, they are turning to, dating sites and things of that nature. And then too, some people has different intentions, when it comes to the dating site. The dating site is full of, I think the dating pool is different. There's people looking for different things. I could laugh right now because, you take a cruise and they're like, "Do you know what an upside down pineapple means?" Never heard of that, right? But it's swingers. It's basically people who's looking for others, who's, down with whatever, So I think now we just have a very diverse pool of people, looking for different things. The different things, like I said, it could be a place to stay, it can be sex, it can be a relationship. You just have to ask those questions, and that's very important that you ask that questions. And then two, you had to learn from your previous experience that you really have to ask those questions about, a person's family and see, because that can also take effect in a healthy relationship. Correct. Too.
Absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So like current issues and genders and dating, like, do you think people are more afraid to commit now, or they just rather be just disguised in freedom? Like they prefer to have their own freedom than to commit?
I'm gonna say, honestly, yes. I think a lot of people are afraid of commitment, men and women. When men go out and they marry someone, they do have a lot to lose. The same thing with a woman. Right. She has a lot to lose because she loses herself because right. she's so busy taking care of the family, the man, the house. And then women tend to lose themselves. They don't pour into themselves. So, I always tell, some of my clients, make sure your glass is, half full, not empty. Right. Because if it's empty, how can you pour into your family, your children, and yourself, and as well as your partner? You can't. Men too as well. Y'all have to pour into yourself too as well. I think we need to get back to that family unit. I think we lost that. And I think, a lot of people would say we are, we're better together, and so getting back to working together, it shouldn't be placed all on, one person, so I feel like when it comes to that too, Black women who are, focus on their goals, focus on getting degrees and things like that, they're focusing to be single because it's peaceful being single. You don't have to worry about, certain things. I think a lot of, cheating, things going on, on both sides, women and men, manipulation and all that. So I think people, and right now, some people are choosing to be single just because of peace. They're choosing their peace over being in a relationship.
And sometimes you can't blame people for choosing peace than to be in a relationship, because that's what they desire. And there's somebody that loves to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's nothing wrong being either or. Like, choose peace. That's what you want. You want a single? Choose peace. Right. And if you want someone that you want to be with forever, go with that. Like, make that person happy, but also make sure that you're being happy, and make sure you're pouring to both of y'all, and definitely like yourself, so that your relationship, marriage, will be blissful, or blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you want to say?
No, yeah, I was definitely gonna say that. I was gonna say, like you said, you have to choose peace, and I just think a lot of people just have to put, God first.
Of course.
Pray together. They say you stay together. You need to build together, and I just think, we need to get back to we're better together than apart. So.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
Mm-hmm.
Another question: do you think, how do you feel with people genuinely looking for love, or just temporarily looking for attention or validation?
It's a little bit of everything out there, right? I think people are looking for a temporary validation. I think people are, maybe getting married for all the wrong reasons. I think people are getting married because of love. I think
or relationships,
or relationships. Yeah, getting in relationships for all the wrong reasons, or like I said, like it just depends on the person. It just depends on what they're looking for, because everyone has a purpose. Everyone knows what they're looking for, right? And we're not going to get anyone perfect, so we have to understand that nobody's perfect, not even you, right? So when you get together, you have to accept those flaws and all. However, I think when it comes to dating and relationships, you also have to love yourself, women and men, because if you don't love yourself first, you wouldn't know what to, how someone should treat you.
Correct.
So you have to demand that. And then too, you have to be able to stand your ground. If something, communication is key. Communication is big. If it's something that you want or something that you need, you have to be able to articulate. And reciprocation, I think, when it comes to that, like we can go into a whole nother segment of, I feel like, men are the ones who's supposed to lead, but do we have good leaders?
Correct.
That's a whole
different subject.
Yeah.
I know that I know for me sometimes, there's some areas in my life, I could lead, and there's some areas in my life I'm like, I need help. I'm afraid to make a mistake because I don't want things to be wrong or go wrong because of one decision I made, so
and that's when you're supposed to have your partner to help you balance those things. And the same for her too. For her too, like, and that's why I said it's all about balancing. It's all about knowing where you fall short and where, your partner can pick up, so the same thing, we just have to learn that no one's perfect, and we all have, our things that we can constantly work on. It's just, are we willing to work on those things? Are we willing to be vulnerable? Because I feel like a lot of us have been vulnerable for the wrong person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or are we willing to bend, because, you can have a partner that's willing to give you the world, but you got to come out your own ways,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, like, it's great to have.
Okay, I get that too, but bend, it's either bend and then you do have the settling. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, bending, I wouldn't use that word per se. I would say that, we have to be understanding.
I like that word better.
Right. Understanding of your partner and what it is their needs are, right? And, assisting them, where they fall short, right? So bending, I wouldn't say that per se, like I said, understanding. And then a lot of settling. We can't settle.
Of course,
right?
We can't, no.
We can't settle. So you have to be willing to decipher that and what that is. And that's why I say you have to love yourself and know what it is you want. And then you'll gain that understanding.
I got like one last question, and then we can do rapid fire. That's good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so how do you think the cost of living and financial pressures affect dating and relationships in this era?
Everybody's trying to get together because it's harder. It's harder to, be single on your own and handling that responsibility. And like I said, there's a lot of people who are looking for homes.
Right.
There's a lot of people who don't have a place to stay and who are, searching for that stable housing. And so, they might date multiple women. And so I think the pressure is on. It's really high. I think, people are getting married just the sake of having a wedding,
Or just being married. And
just being married.
Don't want that. He wants true love. And
that's why.
They're entitled to that.
I agree.
Entitled to that.
So then we have to take a look at the divorce rate, right?
Correct.
Why is it high?
Exactly.
And things of that nature. I think a lot of people are not putting in the work. There's work that needs to be put in.
And like in all aspects of like friendships, relationships, marriage,
Mm-hmm.
or even as yourself as an individual, there's work you have to put in because you never fully make it. People may think they make it, but no. Everybody's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress.
I'm a work in progress.
This life is a work in progress. We don't know what tomorrow may bring. We don't know what the next second may bring. We don't know what the next minute will bring. So, as us human beings, as long as we continue to grow as humans, we will forever be a work in progress. Because once you stop, once you think you got it all and you think you good, this world will pass you by. It's evolution.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't growing with the world's gonna leave you by.
It is. Mm-hmm. Definitely is.
All right. So I appreciate you being on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Have rapid fire questions that you can give me your first response.
Mm-hmm.
And you come on when I say it, the questions, and you just give me your first response. You ready? You sure? Oh, you're not sure. It's easy. It's nothing crazy.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather date someone with a bad communication or bad hygiene?
Bad communication. Of course not bad hygiene.
Okay. Who should pay on the first date? No expectations, just answers.
The person that planned the date should pay on the first date.
Okay. What's more important, loyalty or passion?
Loyalty. All day, every day.
Okay. Would you rather be breadcrumbed or ghosted?
Ghost me. Don't breadcrumb me. Don't lead me on. Don't do that. That's what we don't want to do.
Okay. If someone has everything you want but still lives with their ex, non-romantic, is that a deal breaker for you?
That's a deal breaker for me.
Come
on, live with your ex and you're no. That's a huge no. Because if you live with your ex, more than likely why are you still together? Why are you not apart? So okay, no. Deal breaker.
Would you rather catch feelings too fast or never catch them at all?
Never catch them at all. Why would I want to go in some head first, catch feelings, and then they break? No.
Hey, what's your biggest ick? Because that ends with insanity.
Can I say like two?
Yeah.
My biggest ick is somebody who's married or in a relationship, or oh my gosh, I might have a lot of icks.
Right, man.
Somebody that's married, somebody who lies, cheat, and just
So if someone's married, why does it gonna be ick?
Because if they're married and they're still on a dating scene, like, get a
Yeah.
divorce first.
Okay, respect
like,
that.
you do have a lot of married people
respect that.
who are in the dating pool.
Oh yeah, that's
like let's
cool.
talk. Yeah, that's a whole different subject.
I mean, I was thinking like if it was like your friend, you could still be friends. Like,
oh, you could definitely be friends, but like that's like a
correct,
no.
Correct.
Like, come on, and then too, it's about a respect thing. You know,
Exactly.
if you're married, you're in a relationship, you don't want to cross those boundaries.
Correct.
And then I think a lot of people hide that they're in relationships or even marriages. You know, and you don't find in to after the fact. But if you never ask those questions, that's why it's so important to vet someone.
Correct. If your ex texts you, I miss you, right now, reply or block? I said, if your ex were to text you, I miss you, right now, would you reply to them or would you block them?
They're all blocked.
Okay.
No need.
All right, and last one. And I'll add, these are things I just did quick research on. Would you date someone who has less money but treats you perfectly?
Yeah, because like you can grow together. So just because you have less money, the only thing is, would they date you because you make more money?
Correct.
That's always an issue. So
I truly appreciate you joining the podcast. Yeah. Would you like to give out your socials or handles or no?
I'm a private person.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Okay. You have any last words for the podcast?
Yeah, just get out there and date, and just date with precaution.
Okay.
That's it. Just don't give up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clay Anson with Lashia, and we thank you for joining the podcast. You catch the podcast at CME Podcast. If you want to be a guest, contact my link tree on my Instagram at CME Podcast, the link tree /CME Podcast. Again, this is Clients, and thank you for joining the CME Podcast, a show that allows you to come in your unique way.
Peace.